Hey, do you think manifestation works? Like, do you think we can manifest people, opportunities, vacations, or like any of our desires into our lives?
Uh, I think it's just wishful thinking. Somebody thinks of a desire, they take action on it, and then they achieve it. So, yeah, it's not magic.
Yeah, it's definitely not magic. I agree with you there. Like, there's a whole lot of other things at play. But overall, I think the method is pretty foolproof.
Manifesting. I guess you have to write down your goal in order to realize it and take action on it. I guess in that way it's quite important. Yeah. You almost had me there. I thought मैं एक दिन उठूंगी and I'm gonna catch you doing all those woo-woo things like affirmations and visualization. Like, now that is really wishful thinking.
Okay, you think that this is wishful thinking, but you checking your abs after doing 5 crunches is not.
Yeah, so it's logical to check for results after you take action. It's not logical to close your eyes and imagine shit happening. If anything, that seems paranormal.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but personally, I think you can manifest a lot if you just have the right amount of knowledge.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. The more knowledge you have, the smarter you are, and the smarter you are, the more likely you will be successful.
Yeah, but that's the catch. You don't actually need a lot of knowledge to be successful. Too much knowledge can actually hinder your success. I was reading about this investment and confluence theory offered by Sternberg and Lubart in the early 2000s. Just hear me out. I'm not going to tell you the entire theory, okay? So basically, you need a combination of, I repeat, you need a combination of intellectual abilities, motivation, personality traits, thinking styles, knowledge, and a thriving environment in order to be able to create something new.
कुछ ज़्यादा ही नहीं चाहिए भाई. I don't think I have the potential to create something then.
Now, I know these were a lot of words, but all of these things, even if you have in varying degrees, is okay, right? Except the most fundamental, which is knowledge. So now knowledge is what I want to talk to you about. Now, you agreed before when I said that you actually have to think of something in your head before it actualizes, right? Like, you have to think of a desire before you actually have it.
Well, yes, I said you have to set a goal and then achieve it.
Then how is wishful thinking not a practical approach? Don't you think we'd all be sitting in the dark if Thomas Edison didn't first think of a little device called the light bulb before he actually invented it?
Okay, when you put it like that, it makes sense. Like people creating inventions like a light bulb. But talk more about like the present day scenario. Like I see people making vision boards, sitting in front of candles, going like, I am rich, I am abundant, I have a loving partner. Like, you cannot create these things from thin air. It's literally not the same as creating a light bulb.
First of all, the light bulb was not created from thin air. There were people who came before Edison who are already experimenting with the electric lamp or the electric battery, but nothing was just feasible enough or cost efficient enough to be commercialized. So he did have existing knowledge to work upon.
Okay.
Just like these people that you are referring to that are trying to manifest a spouse, a vacation, or more abundance in their life, they know that it exists because people have done it before and people do it all the time, but it just doesn't exist in their reality. So technically it should be even easier for them to manifest because unlike Edison, they're not building something completely new. It has existed before in other people's life, they just want it in their life.
Yeah, like looking all around, they realize that they can also achieve these things. So why not, after that realization, go on Bumble, go on Tinder, try to find yourself somebody, change your job, book that flight ticket. I don't think I am rich, I am abundant shit is going to get them anywhere, and neither is writing yourself a blank check and sticking it to your fridge.
You don't think affirmations and visualizations are necessary for people because you think that those things are actually possible for them to achieve until the role is reversed and you look at it in your own scenario. We actually don't even think that the desires we have are attainable, and subconsciously most of us don't even think we deserve them. For example, do you think that you can buy a bungalow in this lifetime?
Yeah, like in Faridabad.
Okay, and why there? Why not like South Bombay or something?
Because even if I take the best case scenario, suppose I get a 20% hike, you know, every job that I switch 5 jobs before I retire with my current lifestyle. And I'm just talking about my potential, not the potential of the person that I will marry. Then I'd be lucky if I can ever make a 4 BHK in a decent locality. Like, I've done the math already, and my math is of the best case scenario.
Okay, but what if I told you that I actually went ahead in time? What if I provide you with the knowledge that I went ahead in time and I saw that not only did you have like one of those 2-story houses, but you also had like a luxury car? What do you think were the steps you took from point A to get to point B?
I don't know, I cracked a lottery or something, because that's a very far-fetched idea.
You were all about logic before and now you believe in lotteries. No, but seriously, what would you do differently to get from point A to point B if I told you that your future was massively successful?
I mean, if I had to go after that much amount of wealth, I'd probably have to get an MBA, because I have no idea how businesses work. And then I might have to work with a few companies until I finally start my own company. And even then, this is very far-fetched, because there's only like a few Ankur Warekus or Nikhil Kamats in like a few crore people. So yeah,
I get it, and not everyone dreams of wealth, right? I certainly don't. But you get what I'm trying to say, that it wasn't until I asked you to force yourself in the shoes of a massively successful person could you actually think of the ways of getting there. Because we as humans are so prone to taking decisions based on our past experiences. And by the way, you chose the most sought out after Shark Tank inspired common way of getting to that wealth, because that's the only knowledge that is available to you, right? I mean, I'm sure there are other ways, but that's the most common way that is talked about in the media, like getting an MBA degree and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I can't even think of another way to make that amount of wealth for a middle class person like me.
Now let's take another desire as example. If I were manifesting a loving partner and all of my past partners have always cheated on me,
Nah, they've always dumped you.
it's just an example. If all of my partners in the past have cheated on me and all of the friends around me, their relationships are also toxic, then that is the relationship that I will also attract.
See, attracting, what does attracting mean?
Because the knowledge of a toxic relationship is all that is available to me. Like, I don't know what a healthy relationship looks like, which is why even if I attract a healthy individual, a person or a healthy relationship, I won't be able to keep it, because I will be having toxic behaviors, like, you know, I'll be checking their phone or expecting the worst case scenario, which is why that person would inevitably get annoyed with me and leave me. So I wouldn't even be able to keep that healthy relationship in my life, because I don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. On the other hand, if I think of a healthy relationship, I imagine the healthy relationship in my head, I literally write down all the things which you might call woo-woo, but if I actually write down all the things that I want in a guy, I know that that is what I want, and I will basically reject anything that is not up to the mark that I desire. So basically, I have to familiarize myself with that reality.
Okay.
And that's why it's true when they say that your thoughts actually do create your reality. And that's why it's so important to step into the shoes of our future selves, the person who has it all. Otherwise, we'll always be making decisions from our past selves. But if we step into the shoes of our future selves, we'll be able to imagine and then create the necessary actions from those shoes instead of our shoes where we are not having our desires.
Seems like a lot of work, but
Makes sense. Let me just read this from my psychology notes. And it says that sometimes an individual has gained so much experience and knowledge that they are unable to imagine the problem having a completely new outcome. This is because the individual is allowing their past experiences to dictate newer outcomes. So having knowledge in excess is also detrimental to creation. Wow, so Delulu is the Salulu. Yes, and that is why so many people who have examples of failure around them still decide to pursue that thing even though others have failed, because the imagination in their head is convincing them to do that, and the imagination in their head is also telling them that the thing is possible, as well as, telling them how to do it. Okay, I think I get it. If we keep operating from the same past experiences, we're going to be making similar decisions, eventually creating the same past experiences. So it's like we're stuck in a loop, and the only way to create newer experiences is to have it in our imagination first, which will inspire us to take newer action and then eventually create newer experiences, because humans have a tendency to always rely on their past for making all decisions. Yup, that's a fact. So is that why people restrict themselves from news and negativity in general? Because they don't want to think from a place of lack, trouble, or just anything that is not the best case scenario? Exactly. If you keep reading about disease, you're going to stress, and stress is inevitably going to take a toll on your health, thus proving my point. But hey, doesn't that mean that we shut a blind eye to the world? Not exactly. It's about limiting the information that we take in. So if you think that you can create new realities in your head and stick to those realities while still taking in contradicting information, then go ahead, watch the news. But if the news is something that makes you miserable and lose all hope in the world, then no, please don't watch the news. It's all about balance. You can still watch the news, but then not take it personally or not pay too much heed. Plus, news these days causes a whirlwind of emotions that are honestly overstimulating and not necessary most of the time. Yeah, so it's not all that woo-woo, right? Because sometimes we have to actually say sentences like, I am rich, I am abundant, I deserve happiness, in order for us to believe that, yeah, we can actually create new realities for ourselves. Otherwise, we're just going to be making decisions from our current reality, which is never going to lead to newer experiences. Hey, you got a printer at home? No, why? I want to make a vision board, create new realities for myself. Don't worry, you're still my friend in my new reality. I need more than that. I need a vacation fully paid for.